Good morning from California. It's Wisdom Wednesdays. I am Ariana Newcomer, Dove Oracle Priestess, and today I'm talking about the silence of men. And this is inspired by an article that I have posted on this page. So if you scroll down below this video, you can read the entire piece in online site. And this is a piece by Terence Crowley, which was posted on that site on July 10th. And the title is, Dear Fellow Men, It's Time We Break Our Silence. And I've talked many times about voice in these Wisdom Wednesdays and in other pieces that I have done. And mostly it's been about women and the ways that our culture has silenced our voices as women, has shamed us, shushed us, silenced us, suppressed our voices. And the truth is that in this dominator culture, men also have been damaged. And one of the ways that men have been damaged is by not being able to fully acknowledge and use and bring forth their inner sensitive side, their tenderness, their whole emotional life. And this is fortunately becoming less and less true. But for many of us in our father's generation, men, boys don't cry, men don't talk about emotions. And this has made it difficult for them to be their whole selves. So one way that men have been silenced is in speaking up for women. Hi, Barbara. Nice to see you here. And this article is about this particular man's realization that his complicity in the culture of demeaning women, of denigrating women, of sexually harassing women, and not saying anything about it was, in essence, a lie, because he wasn't being true to himself and who he truly was on the inside by participating in that culture. And he also wasn't doing anything to help it shift. So one of the things he talks about is that men have this sort of requirement that women lie on their behalf, and that we reassure men all the time, and that we tell them the things that their ego wants to hear, that they think their ego wants to hear, so that they can feel okay. But also, he says in this article, he had assumed in a rather unexamined way that his silence in the face of woman-hating behaviors served as a connection to men. So this is something that we can see happening, that people, and not just men, but sometimes women will do this too, and different races might do this to each other, and different people from different countries might do this to each other, to denigrate the other as a way of bonding, as a way of being more together. And yet we have to really recognize that that kind of behavior doesn't serve us, really. And we can have a deeper bonding and deeper connections with each other when we are really vulnerable, truthful, and operating out of a sense of partnership, rather than, oh, I'm in this dominating group and I have to maintain my dominance by denigrating the people that we have power over. And that's the way we feel good. What if the way we feel good is to actually create deeper connections from the truth of who we are, from our hearts, from our deeper humanity? So he said, Crowley says, again, certainly it avoided conflict for him to participate in this with other men. But then he was forced to come to grips with the fact that his conscious deception not only spawned power over relationships with women, it also quite unintentionally impaired all my relationships with men, to whom I was also lying. My silence connected me to male superiority and male privilege, not to other men. And this is what we're doing anytime we're engaging in these sort of fests of making others out to be the other and claiming our superiority over the other, is we are connecting to white superiority or American superiority or male superiority or female certain clique superiority, athlete superiority, and to privilege, but not to each other. Not to each other, really. And we all really want that deeper connection. That's what we really are seeking. And we also see this in our relationship as humans with nature. So we have not allowed ourselves to have that deeper connection to nature that people used to have when we really lived on the land and we were dependent on it, and which many indigenous cultures still maintain, this right relationship with nature. For instance, the Native American idea of what we do now needs to be sustainable for 7 generations into the future. We need to have the care for the earth so the earth can sustain 7 generations into the future. So look what we've done by having this domination. We have this power over nature, and we're just going to make nature submit, and we're just going to take everything, and we're not going to allow for the balance, and we're not going to have this deeper relationship and connection with nature. So I've titled this The Slience of Men, and as I said, the inspiration was this particular article. But this is such a wider issue, and it's true for all genders, it's true for all races, it's true for all people of all countries, tribes. It's true for humanity, that when we do this thing of denigrating and hating others as a way of bonding with each other, we're really cutting the rug out from under ourselves. We're cutting the earth out from under ourselves. And we're not getting ourselves what we really deeply desire. Humans deeply desire to be connected in authentic ways. And we have that capacity. So let's let go of that story. That's a cultural story, that somebody has to be in a dominant group, and that means that somebody has to be beneath them. We have to be superior to somebody else. What if we don't? What if men don't need to be superior to women, nor women need to be superior to men? What if whites don't need to be superior to people of color? What if certain tribes don't need to be superior to other tribes? What if the truth is that we are all in this together, and we're in it with nature? And what if the truth is that nature, so we've been taught also that nature operates on this competitive aspect. We have this great email talk group in my neighborhood up here in the mountains, and someone posted a question about a redwood tree that had other trees growing up around it, and should she cut these other ones down? And someone else posted back, a man, and said, oh, the trees will just compete with each other, and they'll outcompete each other, and eventually, one of them will win, and the others will have to die, because this one that wins is going to take all the nutrients and the sunlight. And that's not how it works. That's not how it works in the forest. And I just went, because I live right next to the redwood forest, and I see how the redwoods grow up in families. And the truth is that trees actually support each other underneath the earth. They're connected by mycelial networks, the fungal networks. They pass messages, they pass nutrients, and they will even help other species. So there's cooperation going on underground, which we don't see, for the greater good. And if a tree perhaps begins to die, and it's seen that even giving it extra nutrients from the wood wide web underground isn't going to help, the tree will actually release itself and give what it has left into the ground so that that can be passed to other trees and the tree will die more quickly. So there's a lot of cooperation in nature. So we actually live in a world of cooperation. We don't live in a world of inherent competition. We have to beat somebody else out in order to have what we need. We can actually have what we all need by greater cooperation. So it's time for us all to let go of silence. The Me Too movement has helped women begin to speak up and speak out about their own experiences of being sexually harassed, abused, raped, etc. And in this article, I have this wonderful experience of seeing that conscious men are speaking up about the damage that this silence, not speaking up and saying, hey, we can't talk about women this way, it's really not okay. That damage that silence has done to our culture at large, to women, of course, but also to men themselves, to the men themselves. So I'm feeling great gratitude today for the men who are speaking up, the many conscious men who are speaking up and beginning to really change this culture. So let's all speak. Let's speak our truth from our hearts and speak in partnership so that we can create the world that we really need. And I look forward to talking with you, and I will see you next time.